Good.
All right, welcome to the
Your mic's not on.
July 24, 2024. I'm sorry. Welcome to the July 24, 2024 CAPC meeting in Eureka Springs here in the auditorium. I'm Steve Holofield, acting chair for this meeting. That's the welcome. Roll call.
David Avancino.
Present.
Colin. Shira Faust.
Here.
Steve Holyfield.
Here.
Colin Polk.
Here.
Bradley Tate Green, present.
Okay. Public comments. We have someone has sent in public comments. I want to read them if I forget about it. I've been holding on to them for a couple of weeks. From Pamela K. Greenway. She says, please read into the record my concern that we do a complete audit of the CAPC for the last few years. Yes, we need to go forward in a positive and very productive way, but we cannot do this without knowing where our starting point is. Thank you. And then we have a couple of people who signed up. Sure. Who signed up? Who wants to go?
Good evening. Pat Matsoukas, 5 Mountain. I think I just have 2 sentences. I wish that I had known that this petition was on the agenda tonight, and I would have happily come here to discuss it, and I guess I'll just wait and see what you guys discuss tonight, and I'll see it on the news, on the replay tomorrow. Thanks.
Who else signed up?
Hi, I'm Heather Wilson. We met last month, you might remember. I will keep this quick. I have this crystal hammer that a woman I used to work with gave to me, and I almost brought it, but I thought it would be a little bit funny to yield a hammer at people I'm asking to vote for me. But what I wanted to do was just say thank you for your consideration and your time. I've had the chance to speak to a couple of you. I think that there are a lot of people in Eureka Springs, and they're grieving and mourning a time that once was. And I think that the people that sit here now on this commission understand that and understand how to honor it while rocking the present and building for the future. And I just hope that I can be part of building that with you, and I'll bring my hammer. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Dave Reardon. I'd like to be considered for the commission. There's a tattoo on my ankle. I sent around a little thing, just rather than put on a little show here. It's a Christian cross, Jewish star, and Muslim moons. It's the symbol of the village in Spain where I lived for 20 years, for Frigiliana, the village of the 3 cultures. The Moors were in charge for 1270 to 1350, but they let everybody, Christians, Jews, live in peace. It's the only time in history when all 3 religions were working together on artwork, the Alhambra and such, a pretty amazing thing, everybody living in tolerance and harmony. I discovered that symbol in a forgotten corner. Up until then, nobody really seemed to care. It's a maker's mark. One of the artisans 750 years ago stamped on a ceramic jar. I loved it so much I registered the copyright. I was doing a tour for Frigiliana. I started calling it the Village of the 3 Cultures. 3 years later, the mayor approached me, said they were thinking of having a 3 Cultures festival. Could they use the copyright? Well, I just gave it to them because all I wanted for was a cool thing to happen. And I don't tell that story often because it's very personal, but it makes a little bit of sense to tell it here. It's part of the reason why I believe I should be on the CAPC board. Additionally, I'm a lawyer. I've run several businesses. I've got the technical skills, budget, spreadsheets, and such. I've owned a successful hotel and the rocket tours. I see this position as more oversight than hands-on action, everyday, day-to-day stuff. I think the job of the commission is to make sure that a great director is in charge, and I think that's the case now, and let them do their job. There's got to be oversight, questions, everything's got to run smoothly, and maybe the occasional idea. My crazy idea is white squirrels. I think we should promote them on weekends and stuff. Happy to talk to anybody about that, but you know, we all have ideas, but we hire people, professionals, to have good ideas, and we oversee it, and that's the position of the board, the responsibility of the board, and I would take that very, very seriously. I think I'd do a good job, and I appreciate your consideration. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Bo Centauri.
Thank you. Bo Satori, number 2, Fairmount Circle. First, I'd like to thank you all for your efforts in helping us clean up the commission last month. I think we've got an opportunity for a restart. And so I'd kind of like to address that. In order to win back the support of the community, we're going to have to review budgets because that's where the priorities are. And over the last 50 years, we have a history of essentially being looted by ad agencies. One for 20 years one time, and then 3 years and 4 years. And so over the last several years, I've seen $1 million a year going to Florida, and everybody was very disgruntled with that, including myself. And then when I was looking at your budget today, I see one line item to Madden for $1 million. I have no idea what the breakdown of that is. I just know that it's just another ad agency coming at our revenue stream. And the only other thing that jumped out at me was $750,000 in office expenses. So out of a $2.4 million budget, I think we need to start reconsidering a lot of how this is going to be spent. My 2 main concerns, other than those expenditures, is Christmas. I don't see any of you here that remember what Christmas looked like in Eureka Springs, but up until about '07, all the buildings down Main Street and up Spring Street, all the way to the Presbyterian Church, were outlined 3-dimensionally in architectural lights. It was beautiful. Everyone came to see it. It was a vacation destination. Then in '07, they took everything down for reasons I'll explain some other time, but then never put it back up. So we have 17 years of just a failure of a Christmas decoration, a Christmas destination. About 10 years, I'm sure, 10 years ago, 5 or 10 years ago, Mike probably remembers me going to budget meetings saying, where's the budget for Christmas decorations? And I was told, oh, we got a 5-year plan. We got a 5-year plan. And I said, well, where is it? Where is the 5-year plan? Those 5 years have come and gone. Nothing's ever been done to start rebuilding the beauty that we had so many years ago. Back in the 80s, we used to spend at least $15,000 out of this commission just to replace bulbs on the building. Then every now and then we do another $60,000, $70,000 in decorations. So I'd like to see that in the budget. I didn't see that in the budget, anything for Christmas. The other thing is Parks Department. The Parks Department was created to be a resource or a service to this commission in creating the charm of the city. And although now they have a slight revenue stream, they don't really have enough to do as much as they should. They're doing a lot in the spring reservations and in Lake Leatherwood to make Eureka Springs far more charming. But it is legal for you to allocate funds for the Parks Commission. And they need it because they do more to make Eureka Springs more charming than anyone else. So when I see $1 million going to an ad agency that I don't know what's about, and then I see a few thousand going to parks for fireworks, that needs to be reevaluated. So I'd like for you to consider parks and consider Christmas in your budget. And other than that, I thank you for being here.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Good evening, everyone. I am Julie Fortner, and I am running for the seat on the commission. I am the new girl in town. My family moved down here about a year ago. We have immersed ourselves in the community. I love Eureka Springs. We live in Holiday Island, but I do own a business here on Main Street. We try to get involved with everything we can. We attend all the business meetings. We participate in everything that goes on in town if we can. And I just love the town. I want to be immersed in the town. I want to help in any way I can. I would love to sit on the board with y'all. I have an open mind, but I also have opinions. So I advocate well, and I would do a really good job sitting next to you on this board. So I would appreciate your consideration. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Anybody else? All right, moving on. Approval of minutes. I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes from the June 14th meeting.
Motion to approve the minutes from June 14.
Second.
David Alvazino made a motion and Colin Polk seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
June 21st.
Make a motion that we approve June 21st special meeting minutes.
Second.
Colin Polk made the motion. Bradley Tate Green seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
You said two what,
There
Daniel?
are two. There are two.
10:30 and the 11:30.
Okay.
Just make sure you cover
For 621?
the 21st.
Okay, that was for the 10:30. I have a motion for 6:21 for the 11:30 meeting.
I move that we approve the minutes for the special meeting at 11:30 on June 21st.
Second.
Colin Polk made the motion. David Alvazino seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion for the 6:26 meeting, special meeting.
Motion to approve the minutes from 6:26 special meeting.
Second.
David Alvazino made the motion. And Bradley Tate Green seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
6:28 special meeting.
I move that we approve the June 28th special meeting minutes.
Second.
Colin Polk made the motion. Bradley Tate Green seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
It's approved. I think that's it for the minutes. Danielle?
July 3rd.
July 3rd. Do I have a motion for July 3rd minutes?
I move that we approve the July 3rd minutes.
Second.
Colin Polk made the motion, and David Alvazino seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Is that all 6 of them?
That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Approval of financials. Who's going to present that?
Okay, I will be doing that. First of all, you should have at least what we have. And I will preface that by saying that up until about 4 o'clock this afternoon, we didn't have anything. And I want to thank Michael Akins from the city for being able to come in and help us with QuickBooks, which has been an ongoing task for at least the past 2.5 weeks. Even at best, we still don't have access to the reports that we need. However, I have given you the bank statements, cover sheets from most recent activity, which includes the time up till today. In our operating balance account, as of today, we had $92,915.10. In our money market account, as of today, we had $1,698,035.64. In our reserve account balance, as of today, we had $304,249.65. Total balance as of today, $2,095,200.39. Now, let me go back and preface the reason I said that we had difficulty with QuickBooks. At the time of the departure of Mr. Barden, we had no way to get back into the program. Nothing worked. We got on the telephone with Intuit. We did all kinds of telephone calls back and forth. Very fortunately, again, Michael came in from City Hall, sat down very patiently with us, and we worked through updating the 2021 version of QuickBooks to the 2024 version of QuickBooks, which was necessary to do. There was no way to go ahead and pull the data from the desktop unit that we had into the new version, so they worked through that most of the day today. So finally, at the end of the day today, we are able to open up the program. The laptop that Mr. Martin utilized, I am taking to Pinnacle IT tomorrow to take a look at to make sure that there is no infectious data on it. We don't know. We've not tried to open it up just out of reluctance to pull something up and perhaps infiltrate and create a problem or a virus in another situation. So Pinnacle IT is going to go through the laptop and take a look at that. And after we are able to clear through that data, then Michael from the city will help us go ahead and once again, he is now the admin on our QuickBooks account to be able to go ahead and pull the data so that within 2 weeks, we should be able to go ahead and provide the most up-to-date financial reports we have. I don't know, Michael, is there anything you'd like to add to what we said? Okay, again, if you would come to the podium, please.
Yeah, it's been a pretty long process. Basically, we had an admin who was the previous director. Before sending the equipment back to us and everything, he went in and deleted himself as an admin and put somebody who worked here a long time ago as the admin. So that left us unable to get in there and be able to do anything. So we had to send some forms. I had to send in my ID, a bunch of stuff like that. And we finally got it worked through today. What we have done is we had a very, very old version of QuickBooks. It was so old that QuickBooks is going more of an online version. So they wanted us to get off of the desktop version. So we're going to do that. And the other thing was it was so old it couldn't import from one system to the other. So we had to go in and create a file that was a backup file of all of our data. Then we had to go to their website and upload it with their help to get it in. So now everything is into our new QuickBooks. And what some advantages of that is there's a lot more reporting, there's a lot more robust reporting, that we can connect it to our bank accounts so that whenever deposits are made, they'll automatically update into QuickBooks and some things like that. So hopefully that's going to help going forward to help be extremely transparent on everything that's being spent and everything that's coming in. So that should help quite a lot.
Really appreciate you doing that. Thank you.
We'll also note that today was the first day that we were able to actually open up through online banking our checking accounts at CS Bank. We couldn't look at those numbers until today. So really, literally what you're seeing is data that's less than 3 or 4 hours old in terms of our eyes. So we want to make you aware of the fact that we had some very serious complications, obviously. On the same token, we have been able to make regular deposits to the bank. That has been okay. Another problem we ran into was we had virtually no credit card access, so we were failing on a lot of different payments that are automatic payments normally that we all are associated with various things that we subscribe to, and we've had to resubmit, obviously, applications back to CS Bank to get credit cards we have not received yet. We are assured that we'll be getting them. The other thing, we were informed that we could not make what are called ACH payments, which was totally inaccurate. And now we've submitted the paperwork so that we can go ahead and do automatic check handling through the bank. And those documents have just been sent over to CS this afternoon. So everything is getting up to date, but I appreciate your patience. We've been working through this issue, very frustrating at the end of the day. And again, want to thank everyone for the work that they've done, but also want to reassure our public that we've done the best job that we can with the situation that we were handed. And a very complicated situation, and I think that we will see the light at the end of the day relatively soon. One last thing, I do want to go ahead and ask the commission, because Shira Faust is now on the commission, to get her signature card into the bank. So I need to go ahead and ask that you make a motion to allow her to do that, and we'll take care of that paperwork once you let us go forward with that.
I make a motion to add Shira Faust to the signature card at CS Bank for CAPC purposes.
That's number 7.
Oh, I thought you were asking for it now.
Do what?
Colin corrected me. It's his birthday, so I'll give him
Are you done? Are you making the motion already?
if you want to go ahead and entertain the motion, yes.
Do I have a second?
I second.
Okay. David Avelzino made the motion. Colin Polk seconded to add Shira Faust to the signature card for banking for CAPC. All in favor say aye.
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 All against say no. We'll add it. We need a motion to accept financials.
I'd like to make some comments.
Sure.
I myself have caught simple mathematical errors in the financials that have been reported to the board in previous meetings, two of which in the last meeting and then one separate one in a meeting before that. And so honestly, I really don't have faith in the previous financial director's summaries at all. And I'd kind of like to submit that Pam Greenway said that we should audit the last 4 years. I was going to say that we audit 2024, but I definitely think there's some house cleaning, and we definitely need to make sure that things are as they are supposed to be. So I don't necessarily feel comfortable approving any financials, especially coming out of incorrect summaries the last few meetings.
Okay. Well, audit is under number 8B. So, and, well, that's the audit for the 2022. So we can discuss audit right now. The 2022 audit is almost finished and it's not released to the public yet, right, Michael? So all the audits been done previous years up to 2022, and they're just now starting at 2023. That includes the CAPC, the whole city, right, Michael? You want to?
That's a state issued audit, right?
Right, okay, so they come in and they audit everything. So what they do is they engage with the city, but they also come in and they audit all of our commissions. They audit parks, they audit CAPC, cemetery, everything. They come in and all they're doing is a financial audit. They're auditing the financials, they're making sure that all the deposits are there, everything that's stated is supposed to be there is supposed to be there. They have completed their 22 audit. We have done some closing meetings with them. What they do now is it's not made public yet. It's just been discussed with your departments that it affects. It's done. What they do now is they submit it to the legislative committee. They'll accept the audit, and then once they accept the audit, then we'll publish it. We actually met with them today because we did the engagement letter for 2023. They're going to start the legislative audit for 2023 in the next week. He said they may start by the end of next week. If not, it'll be that coming Monday. They come on site. They're here for about 3 months. Takes them about 2 to 3 months to audit the entire city. If there's any irregularities or whatever, they immediately bring them to our attention. They get more detail, more data. So they have already picked up our files and they've picked up the CAPC files to audit them. So it will be an extensive financial audit that they will be doing. So we will have that. As far as the financials that Mike's giving you, basically what he's giving you is just saying, hey, these are our balances right now. Kind of our goal, since CAPC will be doing such an extensive audit, since the legislative will be doing such an extensive audit, now that we have access to this, a lot of the financial documents were saved on the laptop, not on the desktop. So I haven't been able to access those to get the templates, the forms, the data to see what he had put in there. So once I'm able to do that, once we have the computer back, my goal is to go back at least through the first of the year and update and make sure, like I'm going to look at everything and make sure that, correct the errors and make sure everybody's done where it needs to be. And then we'll also have the legislative audit backing that up too. So.
Okay, so you're saying that you'll look at this year's data?
Yeah, I'm going to look at everything.
Good.
So, because I don't have eyes on that. I just have eyes on the city. I don't have eyes on the CAPC. So this is going to give me the ability to go in and look and see what's in there, see what we need to do, make sure everything is recorded right, recorded when it needed to be, and put into the right category.
Thank you.
Are you seeing anything in these, what you've seen so far that would constitute us doing an audit, like a forensic audit?
Honestly, I haven't been able to see anything because, like I said, we couldn't get into QuickBooks, which is mainly your checking account, mainly where you've spent your money, mainly where you've made your deposits. We have bank statements, but that's it. But now we do have full access to everything. So at this point, what our next step is going to be Mike taking that computer to Pinnacle and letting them look at it. Pinnacle is the IT provider for the city. They'll do an analysis on it, make sure that the computer's okay. Once they make sure the computer's okay, then we'll be able to get the reports off of it. We'll be able to see what has been presented to y'all in the past, because right now I can't even see that. But those should be in there, stored in there, and then I'll go back and be able to match the data that comes out of QuickBooks into what was reported and make sure that it's correct.
So can we go ahead and approve financials tonight?
What he's asking you to approve is just that these are our current balances in the count. So you're not really approving anything that we spent this or we bought this or whatever. The only thing that he could really give you today is just the balances of what they currently are in the account. And so that's the financials that he's asking you to approve, is just that here's how much cash we've got, here much is in our money market, and here much is in the savings. So we're not really, by approving these financials, we're not really approving that this was spent and this wasn't spent. You're just kind of approving that. Normally, Scott presented you with kind of expenses, budget, what was had been spent against what was budgeted and stuff like that. That's really not what you're approving tonight. So it's a little bit different.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
One other thing I just kind of want to break up real quick since I was up here. Credit card. Okay, so the credit card was in Scott's name, and so he went in and immediately canceled the credit card, didn't let anybody know. So what happened is your subscriptions and things like that, your monthly charges that you had on that credit card started expiring and started bouncing. Mike and Steve and I sat and talked. How we handle it at the city is we have a credit card with a certain limit that has been approved by the bank. And then what we do is we bust that limit up into different cards. So the mayor has a card, the department heads have a card, my assistant has a card for ordering things for the city. So each one has a limit, which I give to them. And then every month they have to turn in their card, and they have to turn in their statement with their receipts and everything that they've purchased, and then we audit that and make sure that everything's where it needs to be going. So for them to be able to function, my suggestion was that they actually do what we're doing and get approved for a certain amount and not just have one credit card. And that will keep you from going forward, and if something happens to your next finance director or whatever, then this wouldn't happen again. So that would allow Danielle to be able to order things that she needs, office supplies and things like that. It would allow your salesperson to be able to reserve hotel rooms when they're traveling and things like that. So it would give you a little bit more flexibility that I think would really help you.
Great.
So
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it very much.
Thanks, Michael.
So would I hear a motion to approve the financials as presented for tonight?
I move that we approve the financials.
Second.
Colin Pope made the motion and Bradley Tate Green seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Tourism Director report.
Okay, we have kind of a lengthy agenda this evening, so I'm going to be kind of brief in my report this evening. So much of it you've kind of been experienced already with our financials. That's been pretty much the bulk of what we've been doing. However, a couple of things going forward. I would like to go ahead and ask Jana Kaler to come up. Jana is our group sales representative. She has been extremely busy from the get-go, and I, number one, want to introduce her to the public, but also kind of get a little bit of a background of the things that she's done up to this point going forward. So Jana, I'm going to give you the floor here, please.
Okay, well, thank you all. I've kind of hit the ground running, so to speak. Been introduced to several things at a quick rate of speed, but all I can say is that we are being very productive. We have met with Susie Cohen, who is with the State Parks Tourism. She's a great connection. She's the tourism manager there, and so I've had an opportunity to speak with her, put some things into motion, and we're looking forward with building that relationship with her. We have 6 trade shows and expos that we're participating in for the 2024 remainder of the year. Those also involve promotional materials and deck sheets to promote group tourism and sales for Eureka Springs. This is advertisement and marketing for all area businesses, not just restaurants and lodging, but we promote all area businesses. So we're looking forward to those connections and promoting Eureka Springs there. We are also meeting with organizations wanting to bring in shows and groups. I've got several on the agenda to meet with. They're talking about bringing in upwards of 200 to 400 people to our city to enjoy shows and group meetings. So we're looking forward to that as well. We're planning on getting together with Northwest Arkansas Hospitality Association to provide this area with hospitality training. So we're planning that and looking forward to meeting with the chamber and moving forward with that as well. So a lot of interesting things going on, exciting things, and I'm here to help grow the tourism and group sales market here in Eureka Springs. I appreciate you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Jan.
Thank you, Jan.
Appreciate it.
One thing that I did want to mention, it was sort of suggested in a methodology that any sales travel that we do be approved by the commission. And Jana does have a trip that she needs to take September 24th through the 27th to St. George, Utah. This is the small market meeting trade show in St. George. It's a big show that I think that will be a great benefit to us. 6 nights at $159 a night in airfare. So we're looking just about $1,200 for that trip. So I want to make sure that the commission is aware of that and is okay with basically what we do, and that's travel to places. So make you aware of that. In terms of things that I've been working on, in addition to finance and some other things, there's been some other considerations too that have come up. Over the past few years, the A&P Commission has been able to go ahead and put a substantial amount of money in the bank. We've not really touched much of it. We did spend approximately $56,000 recently with parks, needed improvements at Basin Spring Park. However, going forward, one of the things that we've never touched on really is what I would call a legacy to the city and to future generations going forward. And the Arkansas legislature created an opportunity for A&P commissions back when A&Ps were initially put together, and it gave A&Ps and CVBs the opportunity to build brick and mortar. And we have talked about that only in just light circumstance, but I've gone ahead and taken a little bit of an opportunity to reach out and talk to people about some of the needs of Eureka Springs. And one of those has always been the ability to park. We've had that problem for a long time. So, in other words, it becomes necessary to take a look at that instrument. And to be able to do so, I've gone ahead and contacted the University of Arkansas Sam Walton School of Business, the Arkansas Small Business Administration, as well as one other to-be-named organization, to find out the cost of an economic impact study to measure the costs of a parking garage in Eureka Springs. That doesn't mean there will be one, but what that means is that we need to address economically the impact of that. These costs are very important up front, just as any particular major project. We need to find out what it will take, where it would be, why it would be there, what it will take to go ahead and pay off a bonded indebtedness over a period of time. And there's quite a bit of information that just needs to be gathered. So I'm taking a step in that direction right now just to gather the information to bring back to commission at some point. It may take a month or two just to get that information. I've had the opportunity to work with the Sam Walton School of Business before with an economic impact study to measure the cost of putting in a major softball complex, finding out that it was probably money not very well thought through. Consequently, the project did not go forward, which basically saved that city, because it would have been a bonded indebtedness for 40 years they could have never paid back. So these economic impact studies are very important for us, and I'll move forward with that just so you'll know that we're taking a step. Number one, to get 3 different bids, because these studies can range anywhere from $25,000 to $40,000. But we'll have to find out what the costs are going to be in order to move forward. So happy to answer any questions about that. Thus far, that's really as much information as I can give you, because that's all I know. We've instituted some communication, I think, changes that I think are going to be very positive. Number one is the institution of a weekly letter from me to all of our collectors and stakeholders. This is important information that sometimes will be data-driven because of information that we receive from Madden. The other will be just information that we know of. But again, it's a way to communicate with stakeholders and people along the pathway. Number two, probably starting tomorrow will be the introduction of a brand new CAPC Facebook page. This is a page, again, that will be by subscriber base to people that want to jump on, but it will be information about what is going on in town. We intend for this to be a very positive, very uplifting opportunity to report back again to stakeholders within the community. You think, why don't we have a Facebook page right now? Well, primarily because we have a lot of other pages that we work with and manage. The page also will be one of the areas where we can put current reports. This includes our Madden reports, which are spectacular. Very happy about those. The other thing is my calendar, personal calendar, 2 to 3 visits per stakeholder per week. We go walk up and down the street and we talk to a lot of people, but sometimes it's necessary to spend an hour or maybe 2 with stakeholders and collectors to really understand some of the problems they have, some of the things they would like for the CAPC to look at, things that we need for the community to address. So this is just another one of the things that I'll be doing personally. Today, we had a call with Shay Lewis, who is the Cabinet Secretary for Arkansas Parks, Heritage, and Tourism. Along with that call was Delaney Thomas, who also is on the chair. She is the Director of Tourism in the state of Arkansas. The conversation today was about our city's 3% revenue tax. And we'll be getting some information from the state about how we compare with other cities in the state of Arkansas and really what that 3% tourism tax is and the importance of it. The other thing I want to mention is I am pleased to introduce a couple of our people, Taylor Gossman, Kaylee Champion from Madden Media, who are here this evening. They were here with us during the day. Madden is also now the agency of record for the Northwest Arkansas Tourism Association. Very pleased about that. They bring together a tremendous amount of information, and it's a plus for us, as well as the Tourism Association, to have Taylor and also Kaylee here. They'll be working starting next week in town with our photographers, videographers on our work for Free to Be. So we're really excited about the direction they're taking, and we're really pleased to have them here with us this evening. Lastly, and a little bit about entertainment, the 77th Annual Folk Festival is right around the corner. We've had tremendous success with ticket sales thus far. We're happy about that because of our participation. And our final word on entertainment is please join us this Saturday at 3 o'clock in the auditorium for Arkansas Music Works, bringing what's called the Summer Rhapsody to town. This is the work of George Gershwin, the work of Queen and Bohemian Rhapsody, but this is all part of the Arkansas Music Works Brass Band, and we're pleased to have them here. Katrina Olewski will be on the grand piano. I think, well, how does that fit with the brass band? Well, in this case, it fits really, really well, so we're excited about that. And that will conclude my report. Happy to answer any questions.
Anybody have any questions?
I don't have a question, but I do want to throw out there that working and sitting in with the Madden meetings every week, there's a few internal reports that you can see on Google searches for Eureka Springs, and one particular report stood out that 6 of the top 10 reports all had parking in their query.
Great. Anybody else? All right. Thank you, Mike. Moving forward, agenda updates. Commissioners may add to the agenda with motion, second vote. Anybody want to add anything to the agenda, take away anything to the agenda tonight? All right. I move we accept the agenda as presented.
Second.
All right, I'm sorry. I'll entertain a motion.
I move we accept the agenda as presented.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Agenda accepted as is. In the future, this probably needs to be moved up under roll call. So that's the whole agenda. Old business. I'm sorry, I didn't catch that as well. Old business, commissioner vacancies. We have seat 2, restaurant lodging owner or manager. Seat 7 is the at-large position. And that large position, just for information, used to be appointed by the mayor, but the law changed in 2023, I think. They put it back on the commission to nominate them. Both these positions would be voted on by us and then sent to the city council for a vote by them to approve. So what we've done in the past is, of course, we don't bring up names, we don't talk about people here openly and what we like or dislike about them. We'll just entertain a motion if anybody, any of the commissioners here, of any of the 6 applicants we have, if they have somebody they want to nominate, then they put their name forward, and if someone seconds it, and then if we get 4 votes, they're nominated to move forward to the city council vote. If nobody in this pile gets a nomination or a second or 4 votes, then we just leave it open and keep looking. But I'm thrilled to have 6 people. Many times we've had no people, and we beg people to be on the commission. And what we've been going through lately, I really appreciate people coming forward and volunteering to step up and help us out. I think we're trying to move forward in a positive way and to be open and transparent. And I'm definitely always open to talk to people about any suggestions they have. And at least nothing else, I got to know a few people, talking to them on the phone a little bit better, and I really appreciate everybody volunteering. So with that said, the at-large position is a little restricted. I mean, that large position is not restricted because it can be someone out in the county and not own a business or be a manager. So we have a few people that would only qualify for that position in our packets. Does everybody have their packet? And number 4, thank you, Danielle, for organizing this. Number 4, and...
Oh, Danielle, I don't have that. Are we just going to nominate by number or name?
Well, I'm just pointing out the ones that are at large.
Gotcha.
Number 4 and 5, and number
4, 5,
6.
6, 7.
Can you go by name instead of number?
Well,
It's 4, 5, 6, 7, isn't it? It's 4, 5, 6, and 7.
okay, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Well, 7 dropped out.
Right, number 2 was
7
Yes.
dropped out. So.
Well, it was number 2 that dropped out, the second person.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. Number 2 dropped out. So if we move forward to the at-large position, if anybody wants to nominate somebody that's qualified for at-large,
I'd like to nominate Heather Wilson Vinson for the at-large position.
Heather Wilson Vincent for at-large position.
Second.
We have a motion from David Avazino to nominate Heather Wilson Vincent, and we have a second by Colin Polk. All in favor of Heather Wilson Vincent being nominated to the CAPC, say aye.
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 And aye. So let's do a roll call vote. David?
Aye.
Colin?
Aye.
Brad?
Aye.
Shira?
Aye.
Heather Wilson Vincent is our nomination for the at-large position that will go to the city council, which will be meeting, I think, in 2 weeks or so. Sorry? Yeah. And then now for the other regular position, do I have any nominations? Anybody? Going once? David?
Yeah, I'd like to nominate Robert Schmid
Second.
for seat 2.
Second that.
Robert Schmidt. David Avazino has nominated Robert Schmidt, and Sheriff Faust has seconded. All in favor, let's do a roll call vote.
Aye.
Colin?
Aye.
Brad?
Aye.
Shira?
Aye.
Unanimous. Okay, we have our 2 nominations then. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody else who's applied. And if we have vacancies in the future, we'll definitely give you another shot. Appreciate it very much. The audit 2022, we already covered. B on old business. C on old business bylaws amendment. We've already proposed the amendment, CAPC bylaw suggestion, Article 1, Section 8, on removing officers. So need to be read out to make it official for our bylaws. Section 8, an officer of the CAPC Commission can be removed as officer by a vote of 4 or more members of the CAPC Commission voting in favor of removal. This includes chair, vice chair, secretary, treasurer. An election to replace the officer will occur as soon as possible. Okay. So that's been read. Auditorium fee schedule. We had a workshop on this, and Mr. Maloney presented this 2, maybe even 3 options, but I think we're going with A and B. And so it has to be presented to us to discuss and decide which fee schedule we want to go with and then vote on it. Mr. Mike?
I'd like to go ahead and kind of refer back to what we discussed during workshop. Both plans call for an initial rental deposit of $1,000. The first plan basically is a little bit more of a liberal plan that is based upon seats taken, and what it would amount to basically is that if you take a look at the costs of the seats, if we are working with a promoter or a nonprofit organization, all they would have to do basically is to put down $1,000. We would refund the remainder of the $1,000 up to basically 200 plus tickets being sold, or seats taken at that point. In other words, from $200 to $299, the cost per seat is $3.89. So if you're looking at really what those costs amount to, it's pretty insignificant. Once you've sold 299 seats, you've sold basically $1,106, and you would owe us a little bit of money. With Plan B, which was the other plan, it's basically we give you 256 seats for $1,000. And then after 257 seats, then it starts to become $3.89 a seat. The maximum amount of money ever put down is $3,500, and that's selling 900 seats in either one of the 2 plans. So really what it amounts to is we've lowered the cost of the auditorium to as little as, let's see, what was it here just a second ago? $389 is pretty economical, and that's only if you hardly selling seats. So we've given the public an opportunity to take advantage of this. Again, if you're a promoter and you're selling 900 seats, it doesn't make a difference what the tickets cost. It has no bearing on ticket sales other than just the cost of the seats. If you charge $100 per seat, that's your business. If you charge $1 per seat, that's your business. That's not what we're looking at. Basically, it's the cost of doing business for the auditorium itself. So either plan is probably fairly easy to work with. It's just a matter of which one you all feel comfortable with. In other words, we give money back if you don't sell enough seats. Otherwise, it's going to cost you $1,000.
Okay.
Mike, I have a question about when you mention seats sold. I know a lot of promoters and artists like to give out comp tickets, and a lot of them. Are those excluded from this, or are they going to be included in a per seat total?
It actually kind of depends on the act itself. It's usually the acts that are in command or the management companies of those seats. Most management companies don't like to give those away. Now, a promoter may decide that they want to go ahead and give away 20 or 30 seats or so forth. If they do that, that's their business. It's not ours. So we're not going to give the seats away. They're still $3.89 a seat.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know. Thank you.
It sounded like you were saying they could pay as little as $389. So I believe last time during our workshop we talked about $1,000.
That's deposit.
So is Plan A or Plan B the 389 minimum?
Plan A would be the 389.
Okay, so instead of $1,000 refunded up to whatever, it can be refunded up
Exactly.
to
Yeah.
they paid 389.
In other words, if they only sold 100 seats,
Yeah.
that'd be $389. Okay, we would refund the remainder of that money back to them from the 1,000.
But then in Plan B, the $1,000 is a flat
It's a flat
deposit.
fee.
That's not.
Plan B is you get 256 seats for $1,000. Is really what it amounts to.
So that's static.
Yeah, that's a static number.
And Mike, you're saying $3.89 per seat sold, correct? And that covers security, staff, ushers, electricity, whatever?
Unfortunately, yes.
Okay.
Yep.
But that
thought
means
it
that
was-
under Plan A, then, if they don't sell enough seats, then to cover that expense, correct? Where Plan B, we'd have the flat $1,000 to apply towards that regardless, where in Plan
Right.
A, we would not.
If I'm not mistaken, it actually doesn't cover the cost because the cost is $63.50. That's what it costs the CAPC to run the auditorium for one night with
Right.
security, $6,350. With the max that you can be charged is $3,500
That's
for
right.
the auditorium. So it would not cover,
Okay, gotcha.
just to answer your question.
Okay. So, option A or option B?
Well, I would recommend B.
You're going to recommend B? Any other discussion?
So just a flat $1,000.
I think it needs to be. I mean,
But that's
We can't-
a minimum of 256 seats sold.
we lose every time we rent the auditorium. We might as well make something out of it. I mean,
And both of these would be the same for for-profit organizations as
That's
well
right.
as not-for-profit.
Yeah, we don't care who you are. Well, we care, but we don't care in the same sense that, yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, okay.
In the case of a promoter that is basically, let's say that, they sell 986 seats, then we get $3,500 for that. I mean, that's been a flat fee that we've been charging. Unfortunately, we've had so many people back off from that they have not wanted to come into the auditorium at all. So, which is better, an empty auditorium or an auditorium with activity? And I think it's a matter of nurturing that product that we can, excuse me, nurturing the product so that we can go ahead and make this auditorium work for us. Because right now, it's not working very well.
Right. I'd like to thank everybody who attended the workshop last week. You remember? All right. Do I hear a motion for Plan A or Plan B?
I make a motion, we accept and adopt Plan B as the fee structure for the auditorium.
Second.
All in favor of Plan B, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Or anybody opposed, say no. And David Alvizino made the motion, and Bradley Tate Green seconded, and it passes. New business, funding requests, antique car show. We have anybody for the antique car show?
Hello,
Hello.
Devin Henderson with the Eureka Springs Chamber of Commerce, and this is Ted Meyer. He's on the Classic Car Show and Shine Committee with us, helping to plan it this year. It is the 53rd year for the Classic Car Show and Shine, longest running car show in the Ozarks, and we're hoping to get some marketing funding from you guys to assist with getting the word out about the show. It's going to be September 6th and 7th out at Pine Mountain Village. And you got anything to add, Ted?
Yeah, I've been here for 22 years now.
Can you speak in the mic, sir?
Sure. I said I've been here for 22 years now, and I haven't been to a better place in all my life. But we've been involved with car shows for much longer than that, primarily as participants. And we decided to get involved to make it a better show than what it's been in the last couple of years. And part of that is due to COVID. I mean, it killed car shows all over the country. And bringing them back has been a challenge. And advertising, we've discovered, is probably the key. Getting the word out early, enticing the people to come. We're even trying to encourage people to come at least the night before and possibly spend the weekend here. So we're doing pre-registration. We're trying to do a lot of promotional stuff. And as much as we can, the money helps to try and offset that cost. You want to comment on some of the actual things we've done so far?
Yeah. So, we do have, we got started promoting the event a couple of months ago. So we've done lots of organic promotion so far. We've got about 25 cars registered right now. Now, I know that's not very impressive, but let me tell you, car shows are a last minute sign up type of thing. Most of your registrations come the day of on car shows. People kind of hold off on registering for those. And so really, having 25 registrations at this point is okay on just organic reaches alone. And so, yeah, do you guys have any questions for us? Anything that we might be able to answer regarding the event or what our plans are?
Anybody? Any questions?
And I think, it's important to mention too that Holiday Island, their chamber's putting on an event on Sunday, a ribs and ride show. And so our event's going to consist of a Friday night sunset cruise, a Saturday car show and parade, and then Holiday Island's doing their car event Sunday. And so this is a good way to get them to extend a whole weekend. We hold it on the weekend after Labor Day because the weekend after a holiday weekend in tourism is just historically a slower weekend. So it's something that we can do to try to increase some traffic on an otherwise slower weekend.
Okay. You want to do it?
I move that we approve the funding request for the Classic Car Show.
Second.
Colin Polk made the motion, and Bradley Tate Green seconded for, you want to mention the amount in the motion? $5,000.
For $5,000.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion passes. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Zombie crawl.
Hello, I'm Colton Scrivener. I organize the annual Zombie Crawl. In 2022, there was no CAPC funding for the Zombie Crawl, and the Facebook event page for the event, which is how most people find out about it, had about 2,000 responses, which is pretty good. In 2023, when we did get 5,000 in marketing funds from the CAPC, we had 20,000 event responses. And I searched the week before on Google for hotels and Airbnbs within a 2-mile radius of downtown, and there were no rooms available for that Saturday. So I think that speaks for the return on investment for the Zombie Crawl, and in particular for the funding from the CAPC. So I'd like to request $5,000 for mostly digital advertising, but also some print advertising as well.
Are you planning on having better weather this year?
I'm gonna, yeah. If I get enough money, maybe
Last
we
2
can
years.
market the weatherman to, yeah.
Have some wet zombies out there.
As a sponsor, I have to recuse.
Okay.
Colton, I have a question. I know as a business owner, I sponsored it last year. I don't recall being asked this year. I need to know before I vote or recuse myself.
I have not sent out requests this year. Colin, you're a sponsor for the film festival, which is a different event.
I don't recuse myself.
So I've not sent out requests yet for sponsors.
Appreciate that. Very much.
Unintentional, but good to know for next year.
Okay. Your motion?
Well, if there's any question, I'll make a motion to approve $5,000 for the Zombie Crawl.
Second.
And Colin, I don't know why, but I'm having trouble hearing you over here when you talk, and I'm sorry.
Talk to the mics, please. Bradley Tate Green made the motion for $5,000 for the Zombie Crawl, and was it Colin? No, David, seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now we have parks, and talk to Sam, he's tied up tonight, but we can get him on the phone if we need to. I told him we'd call him if we have to. Where's Barnes? There he is. When I talked to him, it's for more of the trail maps. Again, he's running out of those really fast. They're really...
He was down to take a phone call. I know he was busy with his family, but...
You want to call him?
I have a question, because we've funded this before, and if I'm not mistaken, didn't we move Parks and Recs to its own intragovernmental agency? And that's where the money comes out of for parks, correct?
I'm going to back up on that a little bit. That has been the way it's been described, yes. I do not recall when that happened, though. So,
Do you remember, Steve?
No. I remember talking about it. I don't remember when it was.
Because I recall seeing a line item on the budget, intragovernmental. I'm guessing that that's where parks fell under, since we're allowed to fund them. And I'm wondering if, like, we've approved this map, his request for funding for the maps several times.
this is the second or third time.
Yeah, and they do go through a lot. So I'm just curious, does it even need to be a funding request, or do we just approve it and pull it out of?
Because I think I remember what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Because they requested last time, and we were like, you still have a budget for.
Yes. Yep.
So the question, I guess, is, do they still have?
Still a balance. There was a balance of $7,000 at a point. This is a good question, and I don't have that sheet in front of me because I don't have the most updated financial that was supposed to occur. And I'm going to have to defer, probably do a conversation with Sam prior to trying to make an approval on this.
Okay.
If that would be appropriate.
It looks like I do, yeah. The last one was sent by Scott was like a week before he resigned. It looks like it's actually, we've used all of that budget.
Okay.
$51,250.
Okay. All right.
So then we would need to make a special funding request.
What? This is a funding request.
I know. My question was, initially was, do we move this funding request into the intragovernmental line item on the budget?
Okay.
But since that's already been spent, correct. Since that's already been spent, we should probably go ahead and make it a funding request.
Okay.
That's my suggestion.
Yeah, and the fact that this is a funding request twice kind of gets under my skin a little bit because we normally don't, like, we're breaking a lot of precedents by even hearing this again because we don't normally request things or fund things twice. We also don't normally listen to things whenever somebody's not here. So I do want to just throw it out there.
We can get him on the phone right now.
We can, yeah, and that's kind of why I told him that I wouldn't mind that because.
Suggestion. Go ahead.
Hello, Mr. Holyfield.
Hello, Sam, Dudley. We have you on speakerphone at our meeting right now. A couple of people have some questions, so.
Yes. Yeah, I'm ready for them.
Well, when you talk, we'll hear it anyway.
I mean, I don't have questions. I think, Colin, did you?
I just wanted to point it out. We definitely need to consider it a budget item if we're going to fund parks instead of taking it from funding requests. In my opinion, I mean, there are events that could be had, and trail maps aren't an event. I love trail maps. They definitely are great for people who are already here in town, but they don't bring people here in town necessarily. So I'm just kind of, I want to help parks, but also I don't want to take away from all the events that could be funded alternatively.
Yeah, sorry, it's kind of hard to hear, but I think I got the gist of that. Yeah, and I totally agree that the funding request is sort of not really an ideal way to do it because there's more like, you know, there's people looking for those funds that are doing kind of more like one-time events, special events. This isn't really that. This is more of a, you know, it's a print, it's a production, you know, that we like to keep out regularly. So, I mean, ideally, it would be more of a budget item in the future. We just haven't gotten there yet. So,
So Sam, how many of those pocket maps do you have left?
We are like scraping the barrel at this point. They go really fast. People love them because they, fit right in your pocket. You can take them home as a souvenir, and now that we have the trail kiosks around town, we've been stocking those boxes with the maps, and especially the one at Basin, we can't keep up with. We have to check it every other day, basically, just to make sure it's stocked, which is a good thing. I mean, that's what we want people doing. But yeah, they're popular. So we got maybe, if you pull them all together, we might have 100 left. But that might be generous.
Okay, and I guess my next question is from Mike. And is Michael? Yeah, Michael's still here. Since we do have access to QuickBooks and all that stuff now, and I know you guys are still trying to work through it. Should we wait just a little bit to find out what is in that line item before we
Steve,
take it
can
out?
you translate that just without speakerphone?
He's asking Michael Akins with the city, who's helping us with our financials, if we can just transfer money into that line item on parks that we have instead of doing a funding
We
request.
can transfer in between line items on the budget. And so what you could do if you wanted to go ahead and improve it so that he could go ahead and get them ordered, then if it's within the funding request, then you could leave it there. If it's not, or if we do have a line item that would cover it, then we could switch it over there, and we would just make a motion that we were switching it over there. So it could be switched. I mean, just because you approve it in there tonight doesn't mean it permanently has to stay in there. We can make adjustments.
Okay.
So.
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, Michael. Yeah, just FYI, I mean, I am working on I've been talking with Mark from Pocket Maps, and I mean, I don't know exactly, he still hasn't given me an estimated delivery date, but they're ordered, and we don't mind paying for them, just covering the cost up front. And like, really, even if you guys didn't approve this funding request, it's not the end of the world. It's just something we've done in the past, so it's something I was hoping we could continue doing. But like you guys are saying, ideally it becomes a line item budget, and if we do that, we can maybe order larger quantities and do it just once a year. I think I was talking with Colin about this earlier today.
Yeah, put it on your budget.
Sam, if you're saying that you could go ahead and pay for them and then they could reimburse you, then what you could do is you could go ahead and hold off on voting on it tonight. Just let Sam go ahead and purchase them. Then once we figure out where it needs to go under a funding request or under the line item, then we can bring it back and approve it then. So, and he could do that.
Yeah, I think that's a good plan.
Sam's
I think we should just
got
go ahead
plenty of money that he can spend.
He's rich. Okay, we're going to postpone.
I will throw out that there was a little extra wiggle room in the group sales transfer.
All right, well, thank you guys. Thanks
that
for,
we might be able to-
sorry I couldn't be there in person. I'm chopping up lumber and watching kids. So two things that don't go well together. Sorry, but.
So,
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Sam.
Hey, Sam?
Sam, hold on.
Oh, yeah, what's up?
Hey, I've got one question for you. If we were to provide an annual budget or recommend that or propose, what do you foresee that might be according to where your spending's at currently?
As far as for the maps go, you mean?
Yes.
I mean, if we typically we've been doing like this year, for example, we've done 2 orders of, $5,000 each. So if we did, just $10,000 line item for the maps, I mean, that would definitely cover us, because that would actually get us more maps. We would actually get more quantity if we did just one $10,000 order as opposed to 2.5. And it just makes it easier. We don't have to go through the whole process of ordering through Pocket Maps over and over again every 6 months. So, yeah, I'd say 10 would be like a very comfortable number. So.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Yes.
Have a good night.
Yeah. All right, thanks, guys.
Sure, bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay, postpone on that.
So Mike, do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and not to go too far backwards on that, Colin, we took a look at those numbers, excuse me, the other day, and we only have to take it out of 2 categories to make that work, not 3.
Cool.
I can't recall the other category that we didn't take money out of it. It may have been concession sales, I'm not sure. But-
Yeah, there was plenty in there that we could.
Okay. Under 9B, review of rules of order. Now, there's some confusion in town about how our meetings are supposed to be run. And I was on the HDC for a number of years as chair a couple times, and it can be really confusing. There's something called Robert's Rules of Orders, and there's a voted on relaxed rules of order. And then I've heard that the city goes more by something approved by the municipal league. So I think maybe at the beginning of the year, we have a workshop on how to run a meeting, have the rules in, maybe someone come in and train us how to do that. I'd like to see the whole city do that. And we have great people out in the public that sends us emails all the time, tell us how we're not doing it right, which I appreciate because, I can always learn. But just a couple of general things. A motion always has to be in the positive. We never make a motion not to do something. We always make a motion to do it, or it doesn't get voted on. So, and then usually when something comes up, it has to be a motion to discuss and second, and then voted on, and then we talk about it, or we just go straight to a motion. So anytime anybody has any questions about that, and it's really nice that we do kind of across the table at each other help us out, because none of us do this full time. And even doing this the number of years I have, there's still stuff comes up I forget or I run into problems with. Just general update on that. C, election of vacant officer positions, chair and secretary. So I am currently the vice chair, and do we have any other? Do we have a treasurer? No,
Nope.
no treasurer. Okay. So secretary and chair. So what we do, like before, is someone makes a nomination, and of course the person needs to be asked if they want to do it or not. You can't just make a person do it. Make a motion, and then it's second, and if it gets 4 votes, then it becomes the officer. Okay, so let's do chair.
I have a question first, Steve.
Okay.
So considering what we've all been through in the past couple of months, and you stepped up to the plate, and you've done a phenomenal job.
Thank you.
I guess what I want to do is ask that you sit for about 3 more months, if you're willing to do that, to get us over this hump, and then let's revisit the chair position in 3 months.
Okay.
Is that acceptable to
Sure.
you?
Or the chair is, all the officers are re-elected in January.
Right.
So that's, we can do it 3 months.
Oh, yeah, and plus we have re-election coming up, so,
Yeah.
okay.
You and I may not be here.
Yeah.
So, and Bradley may not be here. He's running for city council too. So you want to make a motion?
Yeah, I make a motion that we keep Steve Holyfield as chair position for nominate.
Do what?
I think that's
up
how
to
we
you.
have to do it. I don't
That's
think
fine.
we have a choice.
I don't mind running the meetings. So.
Okay, I make a nomination that we keep Steve Holyfield in the chair position through the December 31st, 2024.
Second.
So David Avazino made a motion to nominate me as chair for the rest of the year, seconded by Bradley Tate Green. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. I won't hurt my feelings. Thank you all. Appreciate it very much. Vice chair then. So I vacated vice chair. Who wants to be vice chair? So if I'm not here, they'll fill in for me. Anybody? Nominations?
I will consider,
We also need secretary.
so.
So,
Are you asking for a motion for somebody to put somebody else, to nominate someone else?
Yep.
Yes.
Because I would be willing to sit as vice chair as well, so.
Okay. So if someone's volunteering. if
But I
somebody wants
didn't want to
make a motion.
nominate myself. That seems weird.
Yeah,
That's bizarre.
that's how I felt.
So Shira's volunteering if anybody wants to
I
nominate.
nominate Shira so that she doesn't have to for vice chair.
second.
I won't second myself either.
Colin Pope made a motion to nominate Shira Faust as vice chair, and Bradley Tate Green seconded. All in favor?
No, that
I'm
was
sorry,
Colin
David Avazino seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
And Shira Faust is now vice chair of CAPC. Secretary,
Bradley,
Oh, boy.
since you take copious amount of notes during every single meeting,
I'd like
would
to
you be interested in
nominate.
serving as secretary? Okay. I nominate Bradley Tate Green for secretary.
Second.
David Alzino made a motion to nominate Bradley Tate Green as secretary, seconded by Shira Faust. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. You are now, Bradley Tate Green is now secretary. Okay, that's all the officers. Financial director's vacancy update. You know, if we have any applications in for our financial director?
We received one, and that's all. It is continuing to run through the city's website and also on Indeed.com. But we've received nothing for about 2 weeks. So we're going to have to just let it run for a little longer until the commission decides it wants to do something different. Hire an independent firm or something, but I'd suggest we let it run at least through the end of the month anyway, and then revisit the topic again, perhaps either at a workshop or the next meeting.
Motion to discuss? Is that right?
Yeah.
Did I do that right?
You did it right.
Second.
Colin Polk made a motion to discuss, seconded by Dave Alzino. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, say no. So we'll just discuss.
I mean, options are an agency, hiring agency. I mean, time's of the essence, in my opinion. This is finances, so just post it out as a hiring agency, just like we did for the auditorium director or the tourism director.
Apparently, other A&Ps do just hire accounting firms to do it all, including payroll and stuff. So that's a possibility. Do we want Mike to start looking into that as a backup in case we don't get any up?
That's actually what I was going to bring up is have we reached out to local accounting firms to see if they may be interested in carrying a contract, so to say, with us?
Not yet, no, sir. Be happy to initiate that process, though.
I mean, actually, considering what we've been through, having that third uninterested party that's not part of us, I think would be a very good thing to do.
We'd have to go out for an RFP on that, wouldn't we?
Well, we need
basically
to-
be bidding their services as a finance company.
I'd like to see what we paid the financial director, and then look at that amount, and look at how much a firm would charge us to see if it'd be a lot more expensive, which one's cheaper, if we keep looking for somebody.
I'm not sure about the RFP, though, Colin. There are situations, I think, with professional services that rise above, for instance, a general contractor or something like that. And I think there may be an instance where it basically becomes maybe reputation-oriented. I'm not sure. But I think it's worth that look to be able to find out. Because if you do an RFP, it's kind of one of those, this is almost like how long's a piece of string. It depends on what the complications of the job are. A lot of variables that go into it, especially with A&Ps. So let me double check that before we just jump off and do that, if that's okay. Yeah.
We appreciate Michael Aikens back there helping us out until. Okay. Anybody else have anything else to say about that? The forensic audit, I think we should put that on next month's agenda, because what it sounds like with Michael not having access to all the information, I'm not sure anybody could do a forensic audit at this point without access to all the information. I feel better knowing that up to 2222, the state audit is doing well. I mean, we'll be reported on the state audit where our monies was and what's going on. I personally don't think anybody's been stealing money or embezzling or anything like that. I think maybe it's just more bookkeeping, tidying up and control and stuff. And also I wanted to also remind people the financial director or this accounting firm will report to the commission. It's set up that way as kind of a fail-safe system on spending and stuff. So let's put the forensic audit on next month's agenda. Bill pay update, general running of the office. I put this on here, but we kind of covered some of this just to check in with you guys to see if everything's going smoothly, if you need any help from any of us.
Again, I think we've addressed some of these things a little earlier this evening. We are taking care of several things within bill pay. Again, we've submitted paperwork to CS today with ACH, automatic check handling. We will be receiving credit cards at some point within hopefully the next few days that will allow us to go ahead and take care of current payments that have been a problem. One of the simplest issues, though, has always been what Danielle has been doing, just writing checks in terms of getting payments out. But we've had, you guys have been really good about helping us, get those signed and out and delivered on time as best possible. So hopefully, with the cleaning up of the laptop computer, we'll be able to go back and do the things from a computerization standpoint that normally you would do through QuickBooks, processing checks, writing, and so forth. And we should hopefully be able to get that undertaken now quickly, as opposed to wondering, when we're going to be able to get into the program. So, again, thanks to Michael Akins and the staff at the city for helping us out there.
Yeah, and Danielle's been really good about getting stuff signed. She almost ran me over in front of my mailbox last night. Sorry, I had to put that in there.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions, problems? Danielle, we're all good? All right. So that's all we want to see. On G, Ken Rundle had called me. He's a person who has put in for advertising. And Mike has told him no, but he convinced me that he needed more than just the 3 minutes to do a presentation on what he had to offer to the advertising to us as a commission and us as a city. He's also sent us a pretty lengthy email I saw today. I think everybody got it. So I don't want to overstep. Mike, as director, has the final word, and I don't want to overstep that, and I definitely don't want to open a floodgate of people saying, Mike said no and I don't like it, so I'm going to come up here and complain to you guys. But Mr. Rendell he worked for the CAPC at one time?
Yes, sir. I have worked for the CAPC before as a publicist and public relations director, 2006 through 2011, and served on the Planning Commission for a short time.
Okay. You still live here in Eureka Springs?
Yes.
Okay. I don't think we ever met before.
I'm sorry?
I don't think we've ever met before. I don't remember seeing you around. It's amazing in a small town you still meet people.
A couple thousand of us here.
Yeah,
so
I know.
My wife and I have lived here for about 15 years, and we were in Holiday Island a few years before that.
Okay.
So I'm here today to tell you about some concerns I have about the direction of our advertising. It's not just because Mike turned down our request to have Eureka Springs underwrite a show that my wife and I have been producing and hosting for the past few years, and it's currently heard on over 180 radio stations, most of them on the internet, as well as being broadcast stations. 20 countries on not all continents, but 6 out of the 7. We're still trying to get a listener in Antarctica. Anyway, So that's where it arose, but I don't expect you to overturn his decision. I do want you to take a look at some things that the CAPC is doing with regard to advertising. They just arose out of our doing business or trying to do business together. I sent you some documents. I hope you all got them. If you didn't, you'll have them when you get home tonight. They've got our Flower Power with Ken and MJ Facebook page link and our website, flowerpowerhour.com. But my concerns really are in 3 areas. The first, I'm trying to go past a lot of things that I had. I really appreciate y'all's time. You're here volunteering your time, other than Mike and the other employees here, you're not getting paid, but you do want to have the best interests, and you do have the best interests of Eureka Springs in mind. So going quickly to my 3 points. The first is, are we writing off folks over 60? And I say this because of Mike's response to my last email to him, in which I offered him a fee of $600 a month to advertise on our 182 stations. Compare that to, we are currently have 2 advertisers paying $50 a month to be on 1 station. So it's $100 for 2 stations, but I offered Mike $600 for 182 stations. So I'm wondering, because in his response, here's what Mike said, in balancing all things marketing for Eureka, budgets, and how we analyze results, I can't justify the program. Our heavily ROI-oriented programs are tightly oriented to how they measure back into sales. Well, so Mike said, sorry, I must pass. Your production is fun, and I'm sure it's great music. It's a niche audience that loves and reveres the music and the tunes, but it's skewed to the 60s generation. So that's not our base today. So Mike passed. He turned down a tremendous CPM, our cost per 1,000 impressions, 25 cents per 1,000 impressions. That means for $1, you'll make 4,000 impressions. It's an incredible price, and one that I challenge our ad agency to match. So how are we spending our dollars if not cost effectively? Secondly, why are we putting all our eggs into one basket? Is all the advertising budget going directly to the ad agency for them to decide what to do with it? That seems, well, it seems like you're just passing the buck. Shouldn't there be some discretionary money left to the commission and/or the executive director to use for programs like ours, which may not fit into the ad agency's ideas, but would still serve a purpose and are cost effective? Thirdly, why aren't we thinking globally and shopping locally? Are you targeting global advertising? Does anyone here know? Is any global advertising being done? When I was working for the CAPC, the commission sent, the agency sent me to Branson to watch their rollout. This was early spring. They were saying how they're going to spend their money. One thing that they emphasized over and over was 99-1. You put 90% of your budget into what's within a day's drive of your location. You put the other 9%, the next 9%, into other U.S. markets further than a day's drive away. And you reserve 1% to go after a global market. They're out there. Foreigners love to come to this country. And if we're not out there putting our name in front of them, they're not going to come here. So that's it. You know, I think we're making mistakes when we don't target folks over 60, when we do put all our eggs into one basket, and when we don't think globally and shop locally. I've sent you our computation as to how cost-effective our show would be for Eureka Springs. Are there any questions? If you can find any money anywhere, I don't think you can spend it better than with our program. And please email me if you have any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Rundell.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. All of our shows are listed on our website, flowerpowerhour.com. You'll find the stations listed there, where they are in the world, and when we're on their station, what days and times. flowerpowerhour.com.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it very much. Okay. H, petition to do away with the CAPC. Is Pat Mazuka still here?
No, she left.
I thought this was important to her. Okay. So I've been given some information that Pat Mazukas and some other people have been passing around a petition to do away with the CAPC. She called me and asked me if I wanted to sign it. I declined. I said I also wouldn't support it. I think this is, I'm not sure what the details are. I heard it was to do away with the CAPC and then turn around and charge a 2% tax to all citizens of Eureka Springs to make up the difference. She told me tonight, no, it's 1%. But I thought 1% was going to go to infrastructure and 1% to advertising. I don't know. I think this is grossly irresponsible, this petition. It would do away with the CAPC without any kind of economic feasibility study to see what would happen. I think a lot of citizens of this town would be open to discuss, is there alternatives to the CAPC? But that should have happened 6 months or a year ago, to have a conversation about it, talk about it, sit down, do a study, and see if there is a proper way, another way of doing it. I don't think anybody thinks everything is perfect. But every town or state that has ever voted away their A&P, what they call A&P, we call CAPC, have regretted it. The state of Colorado regretted it. The state of Connecticut regretted it. They just did away with their funding for all state advertising and tourism. And I'd always heard there's a town somewhere in Colorado that did away with their funding. It took them 10 years to get their tourism back up to where it was. So I know, if anybody wants to know what our advertisement does, the Madden reports are always available. It's frustrating to hear people say they don't know what we're doing. They're presented at almost every meeting. They're on the website. If you have any questions on how the money's spent and where it goes and what it does, then that's where it is. She needs 148 signatures to be on the ballot November 5th. I don't know. I can't remember the timeline, but it has to be pretty soon. So she told me tonight she's still collecting signatures. So we'll see. This is really a scary thing to me for this town, that we would just do away with something and then sort of have a plan for the future, but not quite have a plan for the future. And unfortunately, I've been told, but some people have been presenting this as a alternative to taking some of the CAPC funding and just diverting it into infrastructure, and not mentioning that it would do away with the CAPC altogether, which is really misrepresenting what I understand the petition is going to do, which is do away with the CAPC. So I caution people, if you want to sign it, you have a right to do that, but please ask questions. Talk to us. If you want to see what we're doing, what the advertising is doing, what Mike's doing, please ask. We're open. We're trying to do the best we can with what we got. We have some money. I think we're being real responsible. Mike was talking about looking at something like a parking garage to help the community. We've given lots of money to the Parks Department. Tonight we approved money for other activities and stuff. I think the CAPC does a lot of good. The CAPC runs the auditorium. Under her plan, I'm not sure what she would think would happen here. It would just go dark, I guess. So anybody else have anything they want to add to that?
I do. My husband and I actually did a really long post about this on Facebook, and I don't think people are recognizing or seeing the economic implications of doing away with the CAPC. We've got the 3% tax, and with that 3% tax, we all collect alcohol, sales tax, all the taxes that come along with that. Getting rid of an agency that provides advertising to bring people into our city, cutting that off means you cut off tourists. Those tourists don't come here anymore. They won't spend money. We don't collect the tax anymore. Alcohol taxes fall, sales taxes fall, property values are going to go up, unemployment rates are going to go up, homelessness is going to go up. People just don't see the trickle-down effect of what this petition can do to our city. It would be devastating. We would lose millions and millions of dollars.
Yep.
That's all I have to say.
Anybody else?
I kind of want to echo that too. I've recently attended some Holiday Island A&P discussions there. They have enough petitions to add an A&P to Holiday Island. And one of the things I wanted to talk about was one of their big talking points for Holiday Island. Why should Holiday Island have an A&P? And they were talking about restaurants. How many restaurants Holiday Island has and how many options you have. And I did tell them, I was like, look, yeah, you're going to double the amount of restaurants you have. Don't get it twisted. We don't have anything in Holiday Island that Eureka doesn't have. So you're not going to get this winter market. It's going to look just like Eureka Springs as of right now. It's dead in the wintertime. And so all the options that all these regulars or the locals get aren't going to be there in the wintertime. Eureka faces that on a regular basis. But what we do have is We have over 60 restaurants for 2,000 people. Somebody said 2,000 people in Eureka Springs. That is insane. And it's not because there's 2,000 people who love to go out and eat. It's because we have enough tourists to fill 60-something restaurants in Eureka Springs, and that would not be without a CAPC.
I'll add to some of the discussion with individuals around town that there is not really a solid plan that has been presented for if the CAPC goes away. Then to our own value as a community, you've got Mad Media, who is our advertising agency. They also advertise for Bentonville, Rogers, and around here. So you've got that added. You take that away, and then you take NADA away, then you're going to lose. When I was a preacher, if I ever heard that, I'd always say, that better be God. But anyway, if you take away NADA, then, you know, that's going to ruin us. You got 12 open shops downtown right now. You're going to have 24, 36 open shops taking this away. So it's going to really cause a lot of detriment. And even people like David and Colin and myself who run restaurants, we may have to seek other opportunities, close our doors, because we won't be able to operate, and that's our livelihood. So we're, you know, on this commission because we love the city and we want to serve everyone in this city and do what's best for our city. And right now, I just think it's a detriment to the city to do away with this tax. And not to mention, I don't think some people know you sign the petition, and if it passes, getting the CAPC back after it's gone is probably going to be close to nothing.
Oh, it is nothing.
And it's pretty much not going to happen. Because the city in Colorado that I know of that did it, they're still struggling 10 years later. And as David pointed out, homelessness, unemployment, it's going to skyrocket, and that's not good.
I also think that the only reason that I can see for eliminating our CAPC would be because somebody's looking backwards, and we're moving forwards right now. We're making new decisions, new appointments. We have things that are on the precipice of possibly becoming something great and different, maybe even different than what we've seen as a city all the way back in the history of our A&P. And I think it would be really short-sighted to jump on the bandwagon to cancel something so casually without finding out where it has the potential to go. That frightens me a little bit.
To me, it almost feels like someone's putting the gun to our head to say, we're going to do away with this. Now you have to come up with something different. It's with this amount of time, it's going to be impossible to do that. So if it runs up on the ballot, it's going to be terrible.
Steve, I point out one thing, and it's what I call the daily spend. The daily spend is based upon the collections that come in, which if we just go back to 2023 numbers, that's $2 million. Okay, 3% equals $2 million. 97% up is approximately $80 million. $80 million divided by 365, just as an average, is about $275,000 per day spent on food and lodging in Eureka Springs. That doesn't count alcohol sales, and it doesn't count sales tax, retail sales. So when you take a look at just those numbers alone, do you want to take $250,000 away, spent every day in the city? I don't think you do. I really don't. But I do think what we have to take a look at is the significance of what will happen to city services. And that's really the tragedy, because we only have 10, 11 cops now. We won't have that many. EMT services won't be here. We will not have the same type of fire support. We will not have the infrastructure necessary to flush a toilet. So let's take a look at it very carefully before we make a decision to take something away that is really assisting the community in a big time way. 96% of our income is based upon tourism. Wow. Thank you.
I think also as collectors, this is not our money. You know, this is a tax that's spent by our tourists, and it's a nominal amount. It's a small, reasonable amount for the tourists that adds up for us as a city and makes a great big difference. But if you perceive it as if, as a collector, you're spending your own money, that's a mistake, because that's not correct. You're really just passing along this fund towards positive things. And I think people mistake that, and I think they spend those monies, and I think one of the reasons they have problems is they lose perspective about the fact that this was not your business's funds, you know.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else have anything you want to say? All right, commissioners' comments. We kind of seem like we've done that already. Let's start with David.
Yeah, I'll try to keep it short. I just want to thank Michael back there, who is older than me, and Tabby for stepping up to the plate and helping us out with everything that you're doing. We really appreciate it. The CAPC staff, Danielle, Jana, and Caitlin's not here. Michael, you are doing a fantastic job. You went through hell, and you're swimming out of it now, so we really, really appreciate it. And all those that did submit their applications to serve on the CAPC, thank you for stepping up to volunteer your time and your energy for this commission. It is really appreciated. And don't give up. There are tons of commissions in this city to serve on. There are openings currently with, I think, almost every commission. I'm not sure about that, but thank you for stepping up to serve our city. It's appreciated.
Colin?
I want to thank the CAPC staff again, because they've also gone through hell these last couple months. Earlier this year, we wanted to create a newsletter, get everyone's emails. I do want to address that a little bit, because a lot of the public is under the impression that some emails were sent out pointedly to specific businesses, and that's not the case. We started pulling together all the emails in the city for people who pay into the CAPC, the collectors, if you would. That's not something that we readily have access to, so the CAPC staff very diligently, painstakingly worked with the city to get a comprehensive email list, and unfortunately it wasn't able to be broken down just by CAPC tax collectors. It was everyone, all the business holders in Eureka Springs. So if there was any mistakes, that's definitely possible. It was not intentional, so I do want to throw that out there. But that being said, we do have a monthly newsletter to help with transparency now. I'd like to make sure that we're including the Madden updates in that every month, because like Mike said earlier, they give a wonderful, beautiful report of what's happened over the last month and year to year. I also want to urge the hospitality training that was brought up earlier. We have a huge hospitality industry in Eureka Springs, and being somewhat new to that these last few years, I've definitely seen that there is a lack of training. So if we could have some sort of community engagement and push behind a huge training, I think that would help Eureka Springs in general. Also, Happy National Tequila Day.
And it's his birthday.
I was going to say,
Yes.
Can we also say happy birthday to Colin?
All right.
Thank you.
Bradley?
Welcome, new commissioners, Heather, Robert.
Yes.
Thank you for applying. Thank you to those who did apply. I want to thank the staff, and I want to thank the commission for allowing me to serve as secretary as well. And then my last note was happy birthday, Colin, but you did not have to stay after 10 p.m. on your birthday.
All right. Shira?
I just want to thank everybody so much for the warm welcome. So glad to be here. I love this city. I love talking to folks and hope that everybody will feel that they are well represented. This group is the commission is a group that is made to be fair and representative of our city, not anybody being an actor for themselves or their own interests. And I look forward to going forward again instead of looking backwards. We're off to good things, I think, and I feel really good about it. Thank you, everybody, for coming to the meetings. I look forward to and hope that more people will come to our meetings. We can't do as much if people don't tell us what's going on. So come and make the public comments and be a part of things. And congratulations to the new commissioners. And thank you to Danielle and Mike and the rest of the folks. Thank you so much.
I'd like to also thank our staff and including Mike for all the hard work they're doing. Appreciate this. It's a hard time right now, and Michael Aiken's back there. And I'd like to welcome our new commissioners, Heather and Robert, if they get approved by the city council. Hopefully they will. I'll see why not. And then Mike and I met with Lynn Berry last week or week before last, who's retired from the Branson A&P, and she gave us some good pointers on directions to go. I really appreciate a member of our community like Lynn, who has all this experience, willing to come down and say, hey, I've done this for a million years, and this is some ways you can improve. Anything that we can improve on, we always appreciate. Thank you, Lynn Berry, for doing that. Mm-hmm. And thanks for everybody for being here tonight and sticking with us. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
David Alazino made a motion to adjourn, seconded by Bradley Tate Green. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.